Thanks for joining us on another exciting journey into the world of science, right here on the Sound Science Experience.
Great to be diving in again.
If you enjoy this kind of content, hit like and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel and keep these episodes coming.
Definitely helps us keep going.
So today, we're tackling a really interesting question. Can getting a viral infection actually, speed up how you age?
It's a fascinating idea. We're looking at a specific paper today called Viral Infections Reduce Drosophila Lifespan Through Accelerated Aging.
Right, using fruit flies as the model here. The mission really is to figure out if these infections can genuinely make our biological clocks tick faster.
Exactly. And first, maybe we should clarify this idea of biological versus chronological age.
Good point. Chronological is just, birthdays, how many years?
Right, but biological age, that's more about how your body's actually holding up, functionally. Scientists estimate it using computational methods, looking at gene activity, transcriptional data, they call it.
And fruit flies, Drosophila melanogaster. Why them?
Well, several reasons. They age really fast, which is convenient for studies. Ethical considerations are simpler than with mammals. And importantly, they actually share quite a few key aging-related genes with humans.
Okay, makes sense. So the experiment itself, what did they do to these flies?
They infected them. Specifically with different types of enteric RNA viruses, names like DSV, DAV, Bloomfield, Nora.
Enteric, meaning gut viruses.
Yeah, primarily affecting the gut, kind of mirroring some common human infections. They wanted to see the impact.
And what was the impact? Did the flies get noticeably sick?
Oh, yeah. The first major finding was lifespan. All the viruses they tested significantly shortened the flies' lives.
Significantly?
Yes, although some were worse than others. DCV and DAV had the biggest effect, shortening lifespan the most. Norovirus was a bit milder.
Interesting. Did anything else change?
Yeah, lifespan also became more variable, more unpredictable within the infected groups compared to the healthy ones.
Okay, so shorter lives, definitely. But the core question remains. Was it just the illness killing them faster? Or were they actually aging faster?
Exactly the question the researchers wanted to answer. To do that, they needed to estimate biological age. They used a computational tool called RAPToR.
RAPToR, what does it do?
It analyzes patterns in that gene activity, the transcriptional data, to estimate a biological age for the fly. They first created a baseline using healthy, uninfected flies.
And did that baseline work? Did biological age match chronological age in healthy flies?
It did, yeah. They found a really strong correlation. So the tool seemed reliable for tracking normal aging.
Okay, got it. So then they applied RAPToR to the infected flies. What did they find? Was the aging accelerated?
Yes, that was the crucial finding. The viral infection sped up the biological aging process.
Wow. Can you give an example?
Sure. So take the Bloomfield virus. Just one day after infection, these flies had an estimated biological age of about 2.36 days. Compared to uninfected flies of the same chronological age, which were around 1.2 days biologically. So almost double the biological age after just one day.
That's a huge jump. Was it like that for all the viruses?
The extent of acceleration varied. It depended on which virus it was and also how long ago the infection happened. But the trend was clear infection meant faster biological aging.
Was this aging effect just happening in the gut, where the infection was centered? Or was it body-wide?
Good question. They looked into that. They wondered if maybe just the genes involved in fighting the virus or genes specific to the gut were skewing the results.
Right.
Well, they tried excluding the antiviral genes from the RAPToR analysis. The accelerated aging effect, it was still there.
Okay, so not just the immune response genes. What about the gut genes?
They found that while gut-specific gene activity could predict age pretty well in healthy flies, that ability kind of broke down in the infected ones. It suggests the aging effect wasn't just localized to the gut. It points towards a more systemic, whole-body acceleration of aging.
Interesting. Were there other factors that changed things? Like, did it matter if the fly was male or female?
They checked that with DCV infection. Didn't find a significant difference between males and females in terms of accelerated aging.
What about other microbes? Flies often carry bacteria, right?
Right. They looked at Wolbachia, a common bacterium found in insects. And interestingly, its presence actually seemed to reduce the amount of aging caused by the DCV virus. It offered some protection.
So Wolbachia helped mitigate it. What if the flies fought off the infection? Did the accelerated aging stop?
They looked at flies that had successfully cleared the DCV virus. Even those flies still showed a higher biological age compared to flies that were never infected.
So even after recovery, there are lasting effects on the biological clock.
It seems so. The damage, or at least the acceleration, might linger.
Okay, let's connect this back to how harmful the viruses were. You said some shortened lifespan more than others. Did the nastier viruses cause more accelerated aging?
That's exactly what they investigated. They even brought in data from a different virus, Orsay virus, which infects nematodes, not flies, and isn't very pathogenic. It doesn't really shorten lifespan much.
And what did they find with Orsay?
It had minimal impact on aging. In fact, generally it seemed to slightly slow aging with maybe some temporary speed-ups.
So comparing that to the fly gut viruses.
They found a significant positive correlation. The more pathogenic the enteric virus was in flies, meaning the more it reduced their lifespan, the greater the acceleration of biological aging.
And this link held up even if they bypassed the gut, like if they injected the virus.
Yes. They tested that too. Injecting viruses directly also showed this correlation between pathogenicity and accelerated aging.
So it really does seem like the viruses are directly messing with the aging process itself.
That's the main conclusion, yes. These enteric viruses appear to shorten the host's life primarily by speeding up biological aging. The paper calls viruses potential age distorters.
Age distorters, I like that term. So wrapping this up, why is this research on tiny fruit flies important for us?
Because it provides a model, a fundamental insight into how aging mechanisms can be disrupted. Understanding how infections, like these viral ones, interact with the aging process could be huge.
How so?
Well, it could help identify new targets for therapies aimed at slowing aging, or maybe, more immediately, finding ways to reduce the long-term negative consequences of infections beyond just the acute illness. It opens doors to thinking about infection recovery differently.
Fascinating stuff. Seeing infections not just as temporary problems, but as potential accelerators of our own biological clocks really makes you think.
Absolutely. It's a complex interaction we're just starting to unravel.
Well, that was a great breakdown. Thanks for guiding us through that.
My pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for listening. And as always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.